Hey, this is Tony Byrne, and we're here with the Realtor Hot Seat for episode 2 with Molly Cole from Professional Realty Services. Welcome to the Hot Seat.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Let's start by just telling us about you and your business.
All right. Yeah. So I'm a new realtor. Only been doing this since May of this year. I am born and raised in Spokane, so I went to Mead High School up north. A farm girl, grew up on a bunch of acreage up there, and went to WSU down in Pullman and came back here again. So I'm really familiar with the area and the history of Spokane. And as for my business, I help first-time home buyers. I help people selling and moving up, selling and moving down, pretty much everybody. So yeah.
So is there a neighborhood you like to focus on?
I kind of do lots of neighborhoods. I'm a huge Spokane history buff, so Garland in specific is really a cool one. Yeah. Tell me one kind of cool story about Garland. Garland's full of history. Most of these houses were built after World War II, or during that time. But Garland itself, everyone knows the Garland Theater. It's been around forever. It's now, I believe, turned into kind of a bar/theater, which is super cool for us adults. But there's a bunch of places down there. There's movies filmed here that were down in Garland, like Johnny Depp was down here with Benny and June. Everyone knows the Milk Bottle restaurant down there in Garland. That actually used to be a few of them. They're the Benoit Creameries. You could go in there and get cheese. My mom tells stories about getting penny candy down there in the creamery. So you can do all kinds of stuff on Garland itself, and then the houses around it are also really cool craftsman houses. Some of them have really neat stories to them. But yeah, I just love the area, love the price range. It's easy for first-time home buyers to get in, as well as people that want a really cool historic home.
So it's fun to go house shopping with you because you're telling all these history stories. Yeah,
I kind of pre-tell people if they don't want to hear it to tell me, but I will point out things all day long, no matter where we are in town, north, south, Perry District, South Hill, all that stuff. So I know a little something about everywhere.
One thing I always ask is what's the market like in Spokane? So tell the people out of Facebook land what the market's like now.
Yeah, so just from me going out with all the different price ranges, I've really found that real entry level 175 to 200,000 range, pretty much no matter where you look in the city, is going very quickly. If you're selling at that price, it's great because you're not going to wait long. But if you're buying, it's a little difficult, but we can get it done. There's lots of houses that come on, but then they're off immediately. Once you get to the higher ranges, again, above 300, more than that, they do tend to sit a little longer, and then obviously up from that, they sit for a while. But it's still hot. I know it's fall. People start to get a little crazy about, if they're going to find a house or not, and they want to wait till spring, but there is still lots of houses coming on and lots of possibilities to get a home.
Are there parts of Spokane in terms of let's talk about that 175 to 200 starter type home? Are there parts of town where you can find homes that sit a little bit longer, or is it the entire market moving quickly?
There's always going to be certain blocks that might have some trouble areas that might sit longer, but generally all the neighborhoods I found are going quick, even out into the valley. I feel like in the valley you get a little bit more bang for your buck for lot size, but generally everywhere is pretty quick.
So tell us some of the mistakes that you're seeing buyers / first-time home buyers or whatever make out in the market now.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of my buyers, especially first-time home buyers, want to get started looking right away, and their biggest mistake is they're not pre-approved yet. So that's my first thing, is I really want everybody to get pre-approved from a local lender, especially someone who lives here, has lived here, who knows the area. We really need that pre-approval in hand before we go look at houses. The only reason is because once you find that house, it can be gone within days. So we want to make sure you have your pre-approval done, so when we do put that offer in, it's a really good offer. I have a lot of clients who are a little hesitant also when we start going that route. They kind of get a little nervous when they're out and about looking at houses to put in offers.
What's causing hesitation in their mind?
I think a lot of them are just new to the process and they're afraid to put that first offer in. They're scared that they'll be locked in and someone's going to accept it immediately and oh my goodness. So like my advice there, like I said, with the lender is to get a good lender that will lead you through the process and really talk you through it, make sure you're comfortable, and then have a good realtor. We're not going to let you make a huge mistake. We're not going to let you buy a house that's not going to work for you. Between the realtor and the lender will really take care of you and make sure to lead you down the right path.
So, with that being a fear, how they have an out, right, with the inspection clause or period or whatever it's called in the official contract. I think it's important that you know, like once you put in an offer, like you don't have to end up with that house if there's things that are broken or whatever. Yeah,
there's lots of ways out. I make sure to tell my clients that before we put that offer in, so they're not so nervous. If once the offer is accepted, we have that 10-day inspection period where you can pretty much get out for any reason. There's also financing contingencies. We can even do contingencies upon them selling their house that they own now if they have one. Like we protect you and make sure that you're not gonna, get into something you can't handle.
Yeah, and that's you gotta know that. That's a big deal.
Yep.
Okay, so now we've talked about buyers, their mistakes. Let's talk about sellers. What are some of the mistakes you think sellers make when they're trying to sell their house?
Yeah, so with my sellers, I've been blessed to have the best sellers ever, but there has been actually the opposite of what you think would happen. Usually you hear they want too much money for their house, they think it's worth $1 million when it's worth $100,000, which I'm sure happens. I've actually had more sellers think they need to fix every little thing, like, dust this, hire a cleaner to do this, and just do stuff, which is really nice to help sell your house. But generally in this market, you really don't need to do every little teensy little thing, especially cosmetic. Nice fresh paint, clean carpet is really all that I will really push for, and obviously fixing huge problems. But generally, shining up the water faucet and those kind of things just aren't needed in this market. And I really hate seeing sellers dump a bunch of money into something that doesn't really need to happen.
Right. Now, will that, let's say if the market does shift, some people say it's already doing that. Will that change if the market does shift, that they do have to do a few more things? Or is that, obviously for now we're good, but what would happen if the market did kind of slow down a little bit more?
Yeah, I think so. And that, like I said, might change. There's just a lot to go into. People get so nervous selling a house, especially with all the HGTV shows. Like, do they need to have somebody come knock their kitchen wall out and that kind of stuff? And it's just really not needed. Up in the higher levels, I think people expect a little bit more of those little tiny details. So yeah, I would, maybe stage the house and stuff at the higher levels, but the lower levels, people just want a nice blank canvas where they can come and make a family and make their home.
Yeah. I think on HGTV they make it seem like buying is so easy and selling is so hard.
Yeah, and it's really
it's
not.
Crazy to me. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. So
yeah.
Okay, so I always finish this thing up with, where's your favorite place to have something to eat or drink in Spokane?
Yeah. So being here my whole life, we grew up on Tomato Street up north. That was the place we went for birthdays and stuff. So I'm a huge advocate for that. I always take my out-of-town clients there for lunch or dinner. They have one downtown now in the mall, which is super cool. But yeah, their Italian food's the best around.
And then the kind of the last thing is rumors are you're a cocktail guru expert. What's one thing we can have in the fall, kind of a fall cocktail recommendation to make it home or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of the Moscow mules, obviously. A little Tito's and ginger beer goes a long ways in those mules. But warm stuff, I'm a huge fan of just like the hot chocolate and the Kahlua or the Baileys, that kind of stuff. Pour a little in your coffee, pretty simple that way. But there's lots of bars that have their like winter warmers. Anything warm with whiskey and lemon's really good too. So there's lots of cool places in Spokane to go for a good drink. And good eats too. All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Where can the people out in the internet world find you?
Yeah, so the best place is probably Facebook. It's just Molly Cole Realtor on Facebook. I post a lot of stuff about local history, things to do, events, that kind of thing, as well as market updates. Other than email and text, that's probably the best place.
Awesome. We'll see you next week on the Realtor Hot Seat.